Welcome to Sleepover Cinema, where we analyze the albums that created the collective unconscious of those who felt their 5th grade breakup was the stuff of R&B dreams. I'm Hannah Leach, a writer, musician, audio producer, and fairly restricted to the baritone singing range.
And I'm Audrey Leach, director, editor, producer, and are you ready? That's my
Thank
intro.
you. That's the energy we need going into this.
We are the sister duo, also known as Tuping Productions, and we haven't stopped thinking about these about these albums since we first heard them.
We're doing our best. We're going to explore the good, the bad, and the nonsensical of the albums that first inspired our love for music in an attempt to answer the question, are these albums actually good? And at the end of the day, do we really care if they are?
Today we are talking about 2004's JoJo, the debut album of JoJo.
Please welcome teen sensation, JoJo!
Get out right now. It's the end of you and me. It's too late, and I can't wait for you to be gone. 'Cause I know about her, and I wonder how I brought all the lies you said that you would treat me right, but you was just a waste of time.
Okay, everyone. Welcome back to the pod. If you're watching the video version, you can see Audrey and I are together in Paris, if you will. And by Paris, I mean my not air-conditioned living room in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. We are drinking
Nasty ginger beer drink.
okay, I don't think they're as bad as Audrey thinks they are, but it's like
You did say they were bad.
I said they were a little gross. And they're like vodka mule ginger beer things. Audrey forgot the Chardonnay at our parents' house. Or is there no Chardonnay to be spoken for?
I'm not sure. I didn't look.
Well,
But
there's where the problem
I was in a
lies.
rush because you said be here at 1:20, so
Well, then
I started running.
Then Josh decided to make a chicken dinner. So anyway, it's hot and we're sitting here, but it's nice to be in person together. And today is my first day of not being full-time employed, which is exciting.
Ooh.
Okay. So a question for the culture for this week. Since we are delving into the lived experience of a child star, my question for the culture is there any way to ethically
No.
is there any way for a child star to ethically be in the industry?
No.
I think maybe pre-internet, yes.
They don't have control over their lives. It doesn't
And
matter
you know,
even if they want to do it. That it's
it's-
still exploitation.
It's interesting too because I know that theater is different than film because you're way further away, but like in most cases, if you have a play where there are minors in it that are over the age of like 13, you'll just find a really young looking adult to play the role.
Mhm.
And I don't really get why film doesn't do that.
They do it a lot. They do it.
Not
ton.
exclusively, I guess.
I mean, most high school, especially high school shows,
Yeah, well,
they're all
yeah.
over 18.
Yeah.
It's as soon as the industry is heavily involved, it's like
Mm-hmm.
gonna get sketchy.
It's anyone's game. The subject matter of today definitely does not involve ethical child stardom, but it is really interesting. So we're going to get into it today. We're talking about JoJo, Joanna Levesque, a cultural icon that a lot of people don't know that much about, but we have compiled a lot of information here about her today, and you are about to be educated. So the self-titled album was released on June 22nd, 2004, and it was JoJo's debut album. It peaked at number 4 on the US Billboard 200 and was later certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, selling over 4 million copies worldwide to date. In the first week of the album being out, it sold 95,000 copies, and by November 2004, it sold over 1 million copies in the US, and it also was certified platinum in Canada. There were 2 hit singles off the album, as you probably know, Leave, Get Out, and Baby It's You. Leave, Get Out hit number 1 on the Billboard Top 40 chart, making JoJo the youngest solo artist in history to top the chart. She was 13 when that song hit number 1. And then Baby It's You was her follow-up single, and it also broke into the top 40 at the time. And just for perspective, she recorded Leave, Get Out when she was 12, and it came out when she was 13. Who is JoJo? There's so much to know about JoJo, but it is remarkably hard to find a like comprehensive timeline from the beginning to the end. Like, there were little documentaries made. Some of them are privated on YouTube now. A lot of the archival stuff of her is kind of hard to find because of all of these like legal traps that she's been in for the majority of her life, honestly. So we'll get back to that. But JoJo has been singing since she was like 2 years old. There's all these videos of her on the internet from when she was 11, just like giving it to us, singing like R&B ballads. And she competed on the television show America's Most Talented Kids when she was around that age. And she lost to Diana DeGarmo, if you remember who that is.
I don't.
She was on American Idol, and I'm pretty sure she wore the flower in her hair. You liked her specifically.
I don't remember.
I remember her being like one of your favorites. Well,
Interesting.
yeah, she lost to Diana DeGarmo, but after being on that show, she was asked to audition for the record label Blackground Records. And just for context, that was the record label of Aaliyah and Toni Braxton and Timbaland and all these other big artists. So that was a big deal for her to get asked to audition for that label. Also, as an interesting side note, the CEO of Blackground was actually Aaliyah's uncle. And when JoJo... I know. And when she came into audition, I guess she finished singing and the uncle like started crying and was like, Aaliyah's over my shoulder, like telling me that like she brought you to me. And apparently JoJo's crying, like her mom is crying. So that was near the beginning. And just a little bit more background on JoJo herself. So when she got discovered, she was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with her mom in Massachusetts. And when she got signed to this label, JoJo said, my label got my mom a car, got us an apartment, and I had my own room for the first time, JoJo explained. They felt like family to us, and I think that's what both my mom and I were really longing for deep down. Both of us come from very unstable family situations, and they appealed to that within us, that we were creating something that was really going to last forever. So also red flags from the beginning that they like needed a support system, and this label could sense that. And then just like a little side fun fact is there's this episode of MTV Cribs from around this time, and JoJo's like, welcome to my house. But there was an interview with her kind of recently where she says that it was actually her uncle's house.
Did you see that on TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. And that she was basically like insecure about the apartment, so they like made it look like she lived in the house, and the house was like not fancy, which is kind of funny on top of it.
Hey, I'm JoJo. Welcome to my crib. Come inside. This is my vacation house.
Keeping that in mind, she is like blasted off into mega success. She's doing all these live performances. Notably, she does a Teen Choice Awards performance that is of Leave Get Out, which is like a ballad. It's like a pop ballad, and for some reason she's doing like heavily choreographed walking around the stage. All this happens, she lets out her first album, and then she lets out her second album, The High Road, which had the single Too Little Too Late on it, which you probably remember also. It was amazing. So she produces her third album, which is called All I Want Is Everything, and there's like these singles that are coming out, but ultimately the label Blackground lost their distribution deal with Universal, so they couldn't get any of her music out, and everyone thought that JoJo was on hiatus, but because nothing was coming out for years and years, but actually she was making all these albums, but nothing was happening with them. But people at the label were like, we're not going to release your music unless you're really skinny and look really perfect. And at the same time, we have like Ariana Grande and Tori Kelly and Demi Lovato like emerging into the scene and basically filling up the gap,
taking her space.
Yeah, like taking her space. And so the label is like, telling her to eat 500 calories per day and giving her like the anti-appetite injections. And she's like becoming an alcoholic. Like she's totally spinning out of control because the label like has a monopoly over what makes her, what makes her happy. So even though she can't let out music because of the contract, she's making these mixtapes and she's touring around the US. She lets out the amazing single Disaster in 2011. Do you remember the song Disaster? Mm-mm. It's kind of Demi-ish. And so she's working. She finally gets out of her contract around 2016 and she lets out the album Mad Love, which is a really great album. And right around the time of her album coming out, her parents were divorced, but her dad was addicted to opioids because of an accident he had on a job, and he overdosed for like the millionth time, and he finally lost his life to addiction, and that kind of made her turn her life around from the alcoholism she was working with. But anyway, Mad Love comes out. It's really, really great. I remember when it came out, I was still in college, and when I was in my running era, I would listen to it while running up and down the East River Park thing. So album 1, which is what we're talking about today, and album 2 were not available on streaming services for years and years because of Blackground holding her music ransom. So she ended up deciding to re-record both albums before Taylor Swift was doing this. And as she was recording these albums, she would record 2 songs per day with the production team finding ripped versions of the songs on YouTube and like trying to piece together how the arrangements were made. She also fronted all the money for these re-recordings herself, but thankfully was able to recoup all the money spent on those re-recordings in the first quarter of it being released. So she's doing well. And then today when I was doing research, it was from like early 2020, like red carpet coverage. And they were like, it's looking like 2020 is going to be JoJo's year. So
nobody's year.
And so I think one thing that's just so interesting about her is that she's like unbelievably talented. Like she's beyond talented. So resilient. Like everything that could get in her way has gotten in her way. And yet, like, did you watch the interview of her interviewing JoJo Siwa?
Yeah.
She was like, with her energy, like hugging JoJo Siwa the entire time. She just seems like very genuine.
Shout out to the like 20-year-old or maybe like 23-year-old gay guy that was like, we should have JoJo interview JoJo.
Yes.
That was good.
It's an amazing interview. If you haven't seen that interview, cannot recommend it enough.
And it is weird nowadays to have like so many people think of JoJo Siwa first.
I know.
Before JoJo. It's
I know. I know. JoJo Siwa, I was looking today, has like 11 point something followers on Instagram, and our JoJo has like 2. Yeah. Which makes sense.
I mean, they're very different. JoJo Siwa's platform is giant.
I know.
And for children.
Right. I appreciate her though. And as Audrey said, she's now Satine in Moulin Rouge on Broadway. And to be said, it wasn't like 2020 came and she just like flopped again. Like she's still letting out music. She's still touring.
She's touring a lot.
Yeah. So good for her. And then of course, other notable things. She was in Aquamarine, our favorite movie. And she also was She also was in RV with Robin Williams, which is just kind of like a funny side note to the whole thing. And then okay, this is one thing that always stuck in my mind about her, which is that she was definitely like, I mean, you heard she blew up so quickly, but she was a very notable pop culture figure in like 2004, 2005. And in 2004, Eminem let out this song called Ass Like That, where it's like Slim Shady. So it's like his alter ego basically talking about like who he gets off to. And he has this verse, and she was, 13 at the time? The way she moves, she dances like a go-go. In that video, she sings, "Get out, you bozo. I need a new boyfriend. Hi, my name is JoJo. Police saying freeze." Da-doing, doing, doing. So basically, he's getting off to JoJo.
The way she moves, she dances like a go-go. In that video, she sings, "Get out your bozo. I need a new boyfriend. Hi, my name is JoJo. Police saying freeze." Da-doing, doing, doing.
Ew.
He also does one. There's a verse about Hillary Duff in it too. It's like Hillary Duff
what song is this? I recognize this.
It's like the way she's shaking. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I never seen an ass like that. And then There's also one by Hilary Duff where he's like, Hilary Duff is not quite old enough, so I ain't never seen a butt like that.
Neither is JoJo.
I know. They're like the same age. She's went through a lot as a child star, as a person, as an artist who is so talented. It's like beyond. She's so much better than so many people that are big now. Like, just what happened to her career is like super messed up. My kind of ongoing question, though, and we'll come back to this for sure, is like, she could have been so much more famous if it weren't for her contract, like, ruining her life. But would that have been for the better for her? Because in a lot of her interviews, she talks about how the industry has been like, it's like not good for thin-skinned people, and that she's really sensitive and so on and so forth. Would she be that sensitive if she hadn't have gone through all this trauma? Who knows? But something to keep in mind.
She would have gone through it no matter how famous she got.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Critic reviews. This one's from AllMusic, and they gave it 3.5 stars. All in all, JoJo is a strong debut. Its centerpiece is never smothered with collabo pylons, and she's served well by the mix of arrangements and backgrounds. She's definitely courting middle lane accessibility, but she rightly lets her singing do the talking, and that's a signal of where she's headed. Blender gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Mm-hmm. She didn't win NBC's youngster version of American Idol, but that hasn't stopped the 13-year-old suburbanite. Is that true?
Yeah, she's from suburban Boston.
Oh, okay. From recruiting some of the same writer-producers who nurtured Aaliyah into an alluring icon and making her own grab for stardom. Over the skipping new jack guitars of Happy Song and City Lights, she's wise, staying within her vocal range and reveling in her own adolescent innocence. She strikes a charming pop pose. Elsewhere, though, she plays dress-up, primping herself into an R&B seductress, writing hip-twisting beats and lyrics about burning desire. Trouble is, JoJo is neither refined nor old enough to pull it off beyond a suitable idol-esque facsimile. On these songs, it's as though she's vamping in her mother's size 9 stilettos, silly and plodding.
Let me just say, regarding suburbanite, she may have lived in a suburb, but again, she came from poverty, so it's not like she was living in like a nice suburban house.
Mm-hmm. Finally, Slant Magazine gave it 2 out of 5 stars, and
the name of the review was
the name of the review is JoJo is pretty damn creepy. I don't know what that means. Okay. JoJo is pretty damn creepy. She's 12 years old. Well, not really, but close enough. It's a small detail her record label seems to be downplaying. And she can sing a cappella live on the spot like a seasoned diva. But while the girl's certainly got pipes, her eponymous debut is as contrived and calculated as the strategic tears in the t-shirt and cap she sports on the album's cover. Even the songs JoJo penned herself can't give the disc the personality it so desperately needs. Keep On Keepin' On is a personal, inspirational tune, but it's high-end sneakers and a duplex that JoJo wants. A sad reminder of how success is measured by today's young people as dictated by hip-hop trends and MTV's Cribs. As long as she surrounds herself with smarter people and stops rhyming words like breezy with easy, as she does on the album's opening track, the young up-and-comer could very well be the next Tina Marie, but probably not.
I felt like the review was really hatery. Like, damn.
To me, it feels like misdirected critique.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's her label.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about that a lot, and I wish I knew more about it. Mm-hmm. But the fact that a very, very much a black label is who signed her, and it shows up in every aspect of her first album, and it feels inauthentic because it is.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Well, it's interesting too. So I wrote down in a bunch of my notes, like, what are the racial implications of this? I think that, like, there is something to be said, though, for... It's kind of like the Hayley Williams effect, where it's like if there's a white girl singer who can really bring it.
Well, Ariana Grande has also had similar things said about her.
But she leans into it a lot more.
I'm not talking about that part of it. I'm just talking about her voice alone.
Yes. It's like in the school of like a Whitney Houston or something like that. If you can bring that sort of vocal quality, like... Of course, R&B is going to suit you. Yeah. And with Hayley, it's just like the pure energy and the like charisma.
When you're working with a child, it's like...
It's different.
It could have gone so many ways.
Yeah.
She could have easily been picked up by a pretty white label and been tried to mold her into like just
like a
pop.
Celine Dion or something.
Yeah, like it could have gone a lot of ways.
I mean, but when you see these videos of her singing when she's like 11, she's singing like
Yeah.
these soul ballads.
But that wouldn't stop another label from wanting her.
I know. Well, I will also say, like, at the time, it made sense that they did that at the time. It was like an era of like that sort of pop music being a thing. So
Yeah.
that's just something to keep in mind. Memories about this album. So for some reason, I had this CD, like the actual physical CD, and the case was broken. I'm guessing I probably got it from a neighbor because I don't think this would have been gifted to me.
I have no memory of that
No,
part of it.
I had it on CD because I remember skipping through all the songs, I know the first like 2 seconds of every song.
Yeah, same.
And I loved this album. It always felt like the coolest thing I could possibly be listening to at any given moment. I remember like 4th grade and 5th grade and 6th grade I was really into this album, which makes sense for the time frame because I was also like a huge like 96.5 Kiss FM listener, and she was like on that at the time.
I used to listen to 96.5 before school every day. Did you?
Yeah, we would both listen to it.
Yeah.
Because that was like
It's just really funny.
I know. Well, it was also like one of the only media sources we
had.
had.
Like we were tuning into the radio.
I know. Well, and also that wasn't like heavily gate kept by our parents.
But there was a lot of things that I feel like in retrospect, there was a lot of things they would say that I did not understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was Elvis Duran in the morning.
I know.
show.
There's still, that's
I know.
ongoing, which also, okay, do you remember, have I ever talked on the podcast about listening to Dawson McAllister live?
I don't think so.
Okay, it was
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, it was on 96.5 after 10 p.m. on Sundays. And it was a call-in advice show with a Christian slant. And so someone would come in and be like, my husband's abusing
Actually,
me.
I do know.
Yeah, and I would like when the guy would give advice, there was so much like dramatic silence in between his phrases, and I would love listening to that. So if you know what I'm talking about, please let me know. I'm going to look it up after this because I loved that shit.
My memories of it, I guess I probably heard it mostly through you. And then once we had iPods, it would have been on the iPod.
Yeah.
I did like the album, but there are certain songs that I would always skip.
Yeah, same.
And so I kind of don't know them.
Same.
So that'll be interesting to talk about in the second half.
Yeah. I do just think it's interesting too, like going back to kind of what I was saying about this feeling like the coolest thing I could possibly listen to is like the way that it is like a specifically black sound being performed by a white
Commodified
girl
for white girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Young
Which
white
like
girls.
it's not the first time that's happened, but I wonder what like mom really thought about that.
I don't think she thought anything about it, if
She
I'm
had
being
no
honest.
thoughts. She probably wasn't paying attention.
No. I don't think I think JoJo seemed, if she was paying attention, JoJo probably seemed good to her. Like, or okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, she wasn't Evanescence, and I was also
Yeah.
bringing that to the table at the time. So, oh wait, I have a couple other ones. I don't know if I've ever talked about Cameron on the podcast before. Cameron is like my oldest friend. He's like a very gregarious gay man, unsurprisingly. And we met in kindergarten, and then we dated in 5th grade. And it was like a very intense 5th grade relationship. And I remember like listening to this album and being like, this is about me.
that's insane.
I know, totally. But are you surprised coming from me? Like this and like Let Go by Avril Lavigne, like a wine and cheese pairing like no other. And I remember like sitting in my room and like listening to like fairy tales and stuff and being like,
Yeah.
it didn't work out, but there's hope for the future. And the music videos are obviously iconic.
Yeah.
And I remember only ever getting to watch them in the basement of Audrey Sheeks' house because we weren't allowed to watch music videos either.
The thing that's really funny though with the Leave Get Out video is like, it's another example of like these backup dancers are like all non-white and they're all like
Oh, yeah.
20.
Oh, yeah.
And she's fully a child.
Yeah, in the Teen Choice Awards performance, it's all like 19 to 23-year-old black men in letter jackets.
Yeah. But I'm talking about in the music video for
that
Leave
too.
Get Out.
Well, and there's also the whole like pairing they did with her and like Lil Bow Wow, who I don't know how old he was compared to her. But they were very much like framing her adjacent to blackness very
the fact
intensely.
that she's only 32.
I know.
Oh my god. Okay, he's 4 years older.
That's not that bad. That could be way worse. So, yeah. That's it. And are we ready to go to break?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everyone. Oh, okay. Well, here's a complicated question.
Yeah, it's kind of like some people were mad at us for covering the OG Fearless when we covered Fearless and not Fearless Taylor's version. No. With this album though, it is a really hard call because I actually want to support JoJo's actual bank account.
She actually needs the money.
So like, well,
and really,
not like in a rude way, but like
no,
she's not a billionaire.
Don't be apologetic to the Swifties. She actually needs the money.
No, that was an apology to JoJo, not an apology.
Yes. Okay, good.
Now, here's my problem. This is my gripe also with the Taylor's version stuff is I don't really want to hear. I want to hear what I know. And it is a problem. So I almost would say listen to both ? Put the new version on your playlist for the repeat listens. But if you want to like, or I guess maybe if you listen to it on YouTube, you could find like you could somehow find like a non-copyrighted version.
I will say that her re-records are like very faithful to the originals.
When I listened to them, I was like, oh honey, this is not.
Really?
Yeah, because I had the originals so, burned in.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to Taylor's versions of songs, I'm like, it could literally sound exactly the same.
And
I'm
not
like,
it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because their vibrato is a little different.
Right.
And like
one production sound is like slightly not the same.
Or it sounds a little more robotic, or it sounds yeah. I hate that. And it's hard.
Also, Blackground was so shady because they only put out the first 2 albums on streaming in 2020. Like after she had let out the re-records.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, now we can't let her have all the searches.
It's messed up. But anyway, and she also paid to produce those with her own JoJo money. Anyway. Okay, we will be back to share our thoughts.
Are you ready?
Oh my god, we could really do a cover in person.
Yeah, we could. Oh, maybe we should just do that.
We should just do that.
Yeah, and just
live version.
Yeah,
I could play it on guitar. Actually,
well, no, don't
I'll get
even
Josh
do that.
to play that.
Acapella. Well,
Aquapella, like Aquamarine. Okay.
I don't know.
We're talking about JoJo's self-titled debut album, JoJo, of 2004. Here is the track list. Breezy, Baby It's You, Not That Kind of Girl, The Happy Song, Homeboy, City Lights, Leave, Get Out, Use My Shoulder, Never Say Goodbye, Weak, Keep On Keeping On, Sunshine, Yes or No, and Fairy Tales. So, should we just go right into our tops and bottoms of the week?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or do you have any overall notes on the album?
I literally took notes on every song.
Okay, then why don't we just go through and then we'll rank at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what you think.
So
just between us squirrel friends, what do you think?
You didn't put writers in the facts, did you?
No.
I think we need to know that information.
Okay.
It's kind of crucial to my notes.
All right.
Well, I just take a gander and tell me, like, scan through and like, are you seeing a bunch of old men?
I am seeing.
Yes, I'm seeing a lot of male names here. I'm seeing no female names.
Except for Keep On Keeping On. She wrote that song.
Yeah,
herself.
except for that. But other than that, the fact that you say that Aaliyah's uncle was like heavily involved in all this, kind of makes a lot of sense because I was thinking about Aaliyah listening to this album without even knowing that she had a family member like
That's
involved.
Interesting.
I was thinking about Aaliyah and I was thinking about Lolita because I feel it strongly connects.
Yeah. You listen to the Lolita podcast,
Yeah.
right? That stuff really sticks in your brain after you listen to that.
Yeah. This is what I wrote. Let me just see what I wrote.
Please.
I said, depending on who wrote this album, I'm either like, oh, this is cute, or horrified. Because if it's old men, it feels so Lolita-esque because they're like forcing her to say that she loves this older seeming guy because he doesn't force her to do things she's not comfortable with. And he has all this nice stuff, but she only wants to be with him because of his gleaming personality. Like, okay, girl, for sure.
Yeah.
That is a very consistent theme throughout all the songs is like, you make me comfortable and that's why I love you. And then she's like, you have, what's that one lyric that's like, and your rims are spinning on the side?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
It's like this guy that she's
it don't
describing.
matter that your car's fly.
Yeah, this guy that she's describing through all these songs, really, that is the kind of the idea that I drew from this album. And because I was reading the lyrics as I was listening.
You're so smart for doing that.
And I'm like, there's just no freaking way this isn't a bunch of old guys writing this.
Yeah.
It felt very Aaliyah. It felt very controlled words. And it's like, yeah, this is a bop. If you're not listening to what she's saying at all, it's like, this is the most like feminist. This is the freedom of women, like the freedom for young women in an album. But then when you realize, you know, we know the greater context, it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. And the way that they entrapped her, it just feels kind of bad.
I know. Oh, I also forgot to mention, just speaking of like, so men were very, very, very in charge of her whole career, except for the fact that her mom managed her until she was 16. She ultimately had to fire her mom as her manager because it got so messy and bad.
It's what usually happens with the parent manager. Track 1, Breezy.
It's such a ridiculous opener.
It's so good though.
But I like it.
I
get shopping sprees off the Heezy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, this girl did not come up with that.
Yeah.
You're just a what?
You're just his jump on. I'm his breezy.
I don't know what that
if her
means.
name was like Brianna, it would make more sense.
Does that mean you're a hoe, I'm his girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But like it doesn't
a jump on?
Like you're about to jump on his dick.
That's what I thought.
I guess.
That's the only thing I can.
Should I look up what that actually means? Dear Google, what is a jump on? A sexual partner who is more than a one-night stand, but with whom one does not intend to form a long-term romantic relationship. Your mom's a hoe. Yeah, absolutely. Just a casual thing for a 12-year-old. Audrey's looking up breezy Urban Dictionary.
Someone who is literally perfect in every way, shape, or form. Someone you constantly want to talk to, and someone who you can't stop smiling at.
Okay,
that makes sense.
So immediately the little white girls of America are doing the math, like a jump on and a breezy.
I just like did not think about it. I don't think about it. I kind of thought when I really listened, some of her riffs are sounding a little rough.
Just a couple.
She's 12, so like all the credit given. But like to include some of those, I thought was a little rough.
They all sound incredibly like
clear.
Yeah.
They're loud.
Yes. But you know what though? I would say, because I had the same thought, but only like 2 or 3 times. Like not that many.
Well, literally every song starts with which that's a part of the genre.
Yes.
It's okay. But I was paying attention to like where's the little gonna come in.
Well, I'm sure it always came in, so.
Yeah, that's basically my thoughts about Breezy. My notes are stupid. Second track, Baby It's You.
Perfection.
So good. I said that intro makes me want to go shopping and be mean. It's so true.
Totally agree.
Because it has a similar energy to
Yeah.
I think.
It makes me think of like when you get a body spray from Claire's and it has like a little charm on it. Yeah, it's like that.
It's
very baby,
so good.
very baby prostitute, as they would say in Mean Girls.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
I said I live for the vocal chop. I do. The vocal chop is.
But the
Yeah.
Same.
Well, however you describe that. I love the vocal chop. And then I also thought lyrically, she was forced to grow up really fast.
Yes.
Like, why is she talking about your car is fly? You're 12. Like,
I know.
What?
I remember thinking about that too, and I'm like, girl, we can't drive.
why are you in the car?
Right, why are you with someone who can
with
drive?
a random man?
Yeah.
Get out the car.
I know.
Stop, drop, and roll. Get out.
But you know, I did think back in the day, like, okay, even when I was a little kid, I was like, she's just playing the part. Like, I genuinely, it's weird because
Like, how did we have awareness for that only with her?
I know. Well, I remember feeling kind of like, oh, like she's grown, she's playing this role of a grown-up, whereas like when I was older and I think about Lana, I'd be like, that's aspirational. But for this, I was never thinking it was aspirational. Yeah.
Like, we didn't.
She was a couple years older.
She's what, like 5 years older than you?
Yeah.
So no, that is old, but it's not too much older to the point where you're like, well, I don't know what it's like to be even sort of that age.
Yeah.
Baby It's You, amazing song.
Agreed.
Amazing song.
Agreed.
Not That Kind of Girl. Now, that's a loaded statement.
This was her third single and it flopped, as a fun fact.
Yeah. And maybe because it's like negative. Like, it is kind of a negative song. It's like, other girls are sluts and I'm not.
Every day round the way, yo, no car hopping, chilling on the block on the cell phone, frontin'. Never left, not that kind of girl. No, not me.
Yes, but I mean, yes. And also,
And she didn't write it.
Yeah, well, she doesn't write barely anything. But basically, the whole thing of the song is like, you have nice things, but I'm not gonna get
she's
with
like,
you.
I can buy my own things and I have a brain, and so
she's literally 12.
I'm maintaining my independence. Well, one of the lyrics in that song is, "Don't go bar hopping." I said, "Don't go bar hopping."
To what, the Jamba Juice?
Where are you? And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool? I think it would be cool if someone well, not Lil Nas X because he can't really sing, but someone like that who can sing, not that kind of boy.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I want that to be a thing.
Yes.
But yeah, she's like, don't go bar hopping. Like, what?
Yeah. Or,
you don't.
What else did she say in that song?
The lyric study for this is what made it what made it interesting to me. Because if you don't listen to the lyrics, if you don't read them, it's like it all kind of goes over your head. I'm not your everyday round the way, don't go bar hopping, chilling on the block on a cell phone frontin'. Never that, because I'm not that kind of girl.
Hello?
I need to know.
Yeah, you don't go bar hopping because you're 12.
Yeah.
I need to know how you roll and how you get down. No drama. Drop my money in the bank. Take me home and meet your mama. Can you handle that? Because I'm not that kind of girl. Okay, you got to read the next part.
Boy, you ain't impressing me with your jewelry, your designer clothes, or the games that you try to play. Think you need to know I got my own. Don't need you for your dough. Hearing me, maybe then we can flow. Let me know. How slut-shamey is it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well,
they're all repeating.
Right. I don't think it's slut-shamey.
Because it's a claim for independence.
Yes, and also being not that kind of girl is like a turn of phrase.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
No, it is a turn. Yes, it is a turn of phrase, but what are its origins? I mean,
to me, I think of like the 50s.
Exactly. Like, not that kind.
But like
the actual, they could be using the term in a slightly different way than its original usage. But to me, she's saying I'm not that kind of girl because that girl would use you for your money.
Well, to me, not that kind of girl means I'm not going to give you this pussy.
No, to me, not that kind of girl is always like, I'm not that kind of girl. Like,
right, but normally
bad,
that
I'm
implies
not.
a sexuality.
Right. And that's demeaning to her.
But is it slut-shaming when you're 12?
Well, I'm not. None of this is projected on JoJo herself. She didn't write the damn song. She doesn't know what any of this is. I'm talking about the people who wrote the song.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. it is saying I'm superior to others because I'm not going to use you for your dumb rims or whatever.
I'm not gonna use you for your rims.
Your
Yeah,
Tims
you're right.
and your rims. She does bring up Tims later.
Okay,
It's
well,
crazy.
this one's up for debate, I guess, ideologically. We're only on track 3.
The happy song. I skipped it every time as a kid. I always skipped
I love
it.
this song.
All right, tell me why, because
Okay, because
I
it does
skipped it.
have the line. I thought that when you were talking about the "you don't make me uncomfortable" line, that you were talking about this song.
it might have been. It might have been
It's
this
like-
song.
That I'm not gonna do anything I'm not ready to.
Yeah, it is this song.
Yeah.
It is this song.
But I like the little hook. The
It's
da-
cute.
da- da-
Yeah.
da. Yeah. I just think it's fun. You make me happy.
I like the chorus. I think the melody choice at the very beginning of the song creeped me out. Da, 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 no. Something about that. I don't know.
Such a close friend. You thought that was creepy?
You know when like a song that is not creepy creeps you out?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like for Hunter, this is a classic example of what it is for Hunter. Grease is the word that you heard.
Okay.
That song creeps him out. And it's not it's not a creepy song.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes it like gives you that eerie
Yes,
childhood feeling.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
I
why.
cannot relate, but I hear you.
I don't know why.
I believe women.
Happy song, simple. There's not a whole lot going on there, but it
No.
is a fun bop.
Yeah.
Track 5, Homeboy.
Another Lolita-esque one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, when he's like, da-da-da-da, know him all my life, now I see him in a whole new light.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that this song felt very much like a predecessor to My Everything, the album,
Yes, I could see that.
or to Yours Truly. And
Yeah.
I thought I think the same thing later about Never Say Goodbye. That's a predecessor. You can draw a
Yeah.
direct link from that song
Yeah.
to like Tattooed Heart or
Yeah.
like
But I
those
will
big
say
songs.
this. Never Say Goodbye is way more complex musically than
It is.
Tattoo Heart.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like vocally. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
vocals and the kind of the marketing and
Yes.
like not the whole racial part of it because she wasn't there yet. Ariana wasn't. But
Yeah.
like just something about like the little white girl that has big pipes. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen that clip of Patti LaBelle talking to Ariana Grande on stage, and she goes, "Sing like the little white black girl you are."
No, but I believe
It's
that.
so, and Ariana like falls to the ground. I don't know. I think I also skipped Homeboy as a kid.
Homeboy, I like Homeboy, okay.
I didn't have negative feelings. I think I felt a little uncomfortable about the slang usage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very
I'm like, why
awkward
is
as a white
JoJo
person.
saying Homeboy?
Yeah, agreed. Don't want to be my homeboy no more.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Next track is City Lights. I lost it at the line, I feel like I'm on medications. I feel like I'm on medications.
Yeah.
What medications? Ibuprofen? Advil?
It's Flintstones gummies. That song is a groovy little song, though.
It's so repetitive, though.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Like, very repetitive. Like, I read the
Yes.
first, like, 2 paragraphs of lyrics, and then they were all the same.
It's on tonight.
Yeah.
Me and my
It's
girls,
on,
tonight it's our
on
world.
tonight. Yeah, the same.
Yep.
It's like one of the songs that's not explicitly about this man.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, you got to throw in 1 or 2 that's just about sneaker night or whatever.
Right. I wish there was a Vanessa Hudgens featuring JoJo Sneaker
Me
Night.
too.
That would be amazing. She would outsing her,
Oh my
though.
God, today. They should do that now.
That would be great.
7, the song of all songs. Leave, get out right now. It's
Yeah.
the end of you and me.
Yeah.
I didn't write notes on that. I can't.
My only thing is, I remember thinking like, leave, get out. I was like, get out of your parents' house. Like, I think that's the only thing, is that it implies like, get out of our shared home, but they don't have a shared home.
Didn't matter because the song was
It
bop
did what
enough.
it needed to do. Yes.
It could be get out of her mind and get out of her life.
Do
Not
you know the
get
song
out of
Get
her
Out of Your
home.
Mind?
Yeah. Get out of your mind.
Why do we know that song?
Get out of your mind. I don't know.
Seems like a dance recital thing for us to know.
I have no idea why. Yeah, it's a very mature song for a 12-year-old.
Yes, I agree.
But imagine if they had her singing like this with 12-year-old topics.
It would have been like Kids Bop.
I mean, that would have been cool, I guess.
They weren't
right?
ready for it at the time.
Like, what would she sing about? She'd be like,
like contemporary?
no, like back then
Oh.
when she was that age.
It would be about like your dreams of when you're older, or like a boy ignoring you in school or
yeah,
something.
I think it's a huge oversight for them to say that like kind of the emotions of her at her age were not enough to like inspire an R&B song.
Yeah. I will say that going back to like the happy song, I know that we're projecting creepy on it, and I'm sure it actually is.
Oh, right.
But I'm saying when I was a kid, I thought that was actually one of the more relatable ones, because
Yeah,
even
that
when
one
you
is.
are like having someone, I think in general, regardless of your age, being in a relationship or whatever with someone who isn't going to be like, touch my dick, is a win.
It's just like listening to it, I'm like, I just don't believe her. Like, she's like an unreliable narrator. I'm
Yeah.
like, she's like, you're not going to make me feel uncomfortable, but I just feel like he is going to make her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, probably.
But she's saying, you know, trust women, I guess. Trust girls.
Right. Believe women and girls.
Believe children. That's insane.
They definitely can't be influenced to lie.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's just not the best. I
No.
think it was an oversight to not let her have more. Of course, they weren't going to let her have more creative say, but
I don't even think she really had anything to
No.
contribute at the time.
no, she does.
She was 12.
Think about yourself at 12. If you were in the studio
yeah.
with writers and they're like, hey, what's going on in your life? Like, tell us.
Yeah. Well, she
You could totally
yeah,
write a
that's
song
true.
about
That's
it.
true.
Next song, Use My Shoulder, track 8.
Hey, what's your story? Hate to see you looking worried. You know you can tell me.
The lyric I wrote down is, don't be scared to hustle. There's no reason to wrestle.
They definitely rhyme. Definitely poetry.
And I also thought it was kind of a pointless motivational song.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, and there's another pointless motivational song coming up down the pike here too.
Yeah, I'm just like, when I saw this was another song I didn't listen to a lot as a
Same.
kid. So before I listened to it, I was like, oh, maybe this is another song of like her being in this fake relationship where she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then it ends up being one of those like you songs.
Yeah.
Where it's like
you can do
you
it.
keep your head up.
Yeah.
You can climb that mountain or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, oh, I don't really want a 12-year-old telling me that.
Yeah.
But like, cute.
Yeah.
Track 9, Never Say Goodbye. This is the be all end all ballad of the album.
I agree.
think.
I agree.
Lonely, no more, just feels the never boring. Going no more, and now that you're here, I never wanna say goodbye, love.
I don't want to spoil my ranking.
Yeah.
I have deep feelings about this song.
The key change.
Yes.
And
Also,
Never Say
just
Goodbye.
musically, it's complicated,
Yeah.
and it actually feels like a really like well constructed song.
Thought out.
It doesn't feel
mature.
inappropriate. It
Yeah.
feels like a cover of a standard almost. Like it's
Yeah.
very well sung.
Mm-hmm.
A
And-
great fit for her.
Yeah, and it also was the point in my listen through where I was like, okay, we're back on track. I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
yeah, yeah.
like, because they Leave Get Out being track 7 was like definitely very strategic.
Yeah.
Because Happy Song, Homeboy, City Lights, okay,
I like those songs.
and then Leave Get Out, that's your perfect hit, and then
Use My Shoulder.
and then Use My Shoulder, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just see Leave Get Out being like strategically placed
Yeah.
in there for songs that in the middle of songs that people hadn't heard already. Then we've got Weak, track 10.
It is a cover.
It's a cover.
Yeah.
And it's a really good cover.
I agree.
It's a cover to the point where, like, because obviously we were children, we had not heard the actual song. And I thought that was her song.
Same.
Can't explain why your love makes me weak.
Like, they don't really give any credit.
No, but you know, that's how it
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
I kind of thought it was the sleeper hit, but that makes sense because it's a cover.
Yeah.
Compared to her other original tracks that aren't singles, it feels really strong.
Yes.
And that's because it's not her song.
Agree.
Like, sorry, but it's not. Track 11, Keep On Keepin' On.
Pouring cold water on her cereal.
Yeah. Quote, seeing other kids with their Tims on.
Gotta keep on keeping on. Gotta keep your head up high. And someday you will fly.
She's sitting on the stoop.
I believe that she's sitting on the stoop, but she also lives in Boston, so I don't know
Yeah,
if
I don't know if
seeing
she's on
other
this-
kids with their Tims on.
Eh,
Speaking of her being from Boston,
Tims are nationwide.
I guess you're right. There's this interview of her at the GBF red carpet premiere, which we forgot to say she was in GBF. And someone was like, so what's going on with your music career? And she was like, I'm going to be real with you. What's going on is wicked fucked up, which reminds me of, we had a roommate named Jordan in college who was actually kind of JoJo-esque in a lot of ways. And she's from the same part of Boston that JoJo is from. And, yeah, she would say wicked.
For some reason, I feel like I definitely heard Keep On Keepin' On a lot.
Yeah.
And my brain just randomly thinks of it sometimes.
It's one of those things.
Like, because it's a turn
keeping
of phrase.
on.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna think, if you ever think, well, I'm gonna keep going and be like,
I guess
it
I'm
just
gonna
comes
keep on
to
keeping
you.
on. Yeah.
Track 12, Sunshine. I literally don't think I'd ever heard that song in my life.
I kind of felt the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it's reiterating the same point over and over.
Yeah.
And sometimes she sounds kind of shrill or pitchy.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. I'm sorry.
Track 13, Yes or No.
It's JoJo in the place to be. It's JoJo in the place to be. You are not ready.
Going into it, I thought I didn't remember this song, but then I started listening and I was like, oh,
You are
not
not
ready.
ready. 'Cause a girl like me can't be.
I
at
totally knew.
home. Yeah. I like this song.
I like it too. It's, it's simple. It's
Yeah.
But the production's kind of cool and
Yeah.
it's like weird.
And she gives it. She really commits to the performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Yes.
Finally, Fairy Tales, track 14.
The spoken word intro is the best part.
That's what I said. I was like, this VO is sending
know.
me, but I have to give her credit.
She goes, you know the story.
You read the books. Boy meets girl. And they fall forever in love. But I know better. So here goes the tale of the realest of the real.
It's really, really good. It's also just very if you know her in Aquamarine, you can just hear the connection so deeply.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
But the song otherwise, how do you feel about it?
It's not that good.
I can do without it.
It's a solid meh. I agree.
As a closer, it's not
I feel
great.
like Never Say Goodbye would have been a great closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put that there.
That's
probably to keep
strong.
the good stuff shuffled in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you could, if you put Never Say Goodbye at the end, it still works. Like, if you literally just swap Fairy Tales and Never Say Goodbye, I think
It probably would
it
have been
still
fine.
works because at least then you could kind of get people to maybe they would have stopped listening. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because back then they had CDs and they were listening through.
Yeah.
They weren't skipping around.
Yeah.
Okay, we just got through. So now we can do our ranking.
Okay, rankings.
I did rank the whole thing, not just top 3.
Oh, damn. Okay, I just did my tops and bottoms of the week. Okay. My bottom is Use My Shoulder.
Okay.
Because I could not sing that song to you if I tried. My second from the bottom is Sunshine.
Me too.
Great.
Sunshine, number 13.
I also could not sing that to you. And upon further reflection, my third from the bottom is Fairy Tales.
Okay.
What are yours?
14, I put City Lights.
That was on my list originally too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13, Sunshine. 12, Use My Shoulder.
Okay, so we're very much on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. What about your top 3?
I put in third, I put Never Say Goodbye.
Okay.
Second, Baby It's You.
Okay.
First, Leave Get Out. I had to.
Okay. Mine went 3, Leave Get Out. 2, Baby It's You.
And
1,
then
Never Say Goodbye.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I've heard Leave Get Out so much more that I was like, you know what? I kind of have to put it first. But we have the same top 3.
Yes, and same bottom 3, really.
Yeah.
Never Say Goodbye. I just have to say a little more, like the little production moment in the beginning with this little, like, it sounds like when you're a kid what you imagine like sparkling sounds like. It's so like dreamy and cute, and also you can interpret the song through like a Lolita-ish lens, because the first line is never been in love, 'cause a girl like me's waited patiently for someone to care for me.
Yeah, it does fall into...
It's a little like that, but...
It falls into the overall thesis of what I've been talking about.
Yeah,
with this
but
album. That
being said, it's a beautiful song, and it really shows off JoJo's abilities really well. The production is like perfect. This is also a song that Ayana and I, my bandmate, have like bonded over before, because it's just such a great song.
Yeah.
I would... Never Say Goodbye is amazing. Also, just Baby It's You, the music video, they're at the carnival. That's the interesting thing with these songs, is that the subject matter is way grown up, but like the Leave Get Out music video takes place in a school hallway, and Baby It's You is like her and her friends at a carnival.
They gave her the 25-year-old songs with the high school aesthetic.
Yes,
and
which
so,
is very Britney.
And
also.
for marketing, like, I can understand why. It's kind of like they were like 4 notches off of like actually being genius about it.
Yeah.
Because they should have hired some younger writers to work with her.
Yeah.
Like younger female writers to work with her. And I think they really could have like hit that. Because a lot of JoJo was always an acquired taste. She was never, other than Leave Get Out.
Yeah.
She was never an all like hitting all margins.
Yeah. Well, because she was like
pop star.
She was like an R&B pop artist, not like a pop artist.
Yeah. So I think with like a little bit of reworking and like forethought, it could have been. She could have.
Yeah.
Hit
it could have been different
areas better.
Yeah. And like obviously her management was never particularly good. The fact that we even got the good stuff that we did get is kind of a miracle. End of the day, you're a little bit older. At the end of the day, you're a little bit older. That's not even the right words.
At the end of the day, there's another day over.
At the end of the day, it's another day over.
And
at the end of the day, it's all you can say in the life of the poor.
It's a struggle, it's a war, and there's nothing that anyone's giving. All these days, something
one
about.
more day standing about.
What is it for? One day less to be living. I think that regardless of, I don't know. I wish she didn't go through all this.
It's just really sad, especially because she is such an incredible talent and seems to be such a solid person.
There's no reason why she couldn't have been Ariana Grande in her time had she been, not that she wants to be that, but I just mean in terms of like broad scale.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how she would have gotten there, because Ariana came into it with such a like, I'm a pop girly from Nickelodeon angle, and then it shifted.
If she hadn't been held up by her management, she probably would have worked with other producers a lot faster.
Yeah.
And then would have been able to switch modes in a way that would put her progress on the fast track, like in terms of like a wider audience.
Yeah.
But if she wanted to just be R&B, like, that's cool, but I don't know that that's true.
Yeah.
I think she just was like following the guide.
Yeah, it's true.
When you're 12, you really don't have another choice. And it was an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
And she did get plucked from a show, which is great, because a lot of people now, there's hundreds of people now that have gone on shows hoping to get plucked and they don't.
Yeah.
So
And I'm glad
We're
that
lucky.
it's true. And even though she did get put through the ringer, at least we have gotten to witness her talent in our time.
Yes.
And
she's thriving today.
I am sure that she will continue to let out interesting things. For sure.
Yeah. And I've never seen a more gorgeous wig in my
I know.
life.
A more gorgeous set of extensions. Human hair extensions. I was looking at them in the JoJo Siwa interview. I said JoJo Siwa interview.
Her glam is
her wig
always
and,
great.
do you want to talk about how beautiful she was in Moulin Rouge?
I mean, I think I said it in that other episode, but like it was crazy. The whole thing with Satine and Moulin Rouge is she flies in on a hoop, like comes down in a hoop. And that happens in the show too, and it's kind of like in the middle of the what's the ground floor called? No, the ground floor. Like because the stage is different. They have like this catwalk that goes out into the audience.
Yeah.
She comes down like into the middle of like the ground floor.
Oh, that's
kind
cool.
of.
Yeah.
So everyone looks like, up.
Yeah.
And it's like it was breathtaking.
That's cool. That's cool.
She was giving it to us.
Yeah. Well, she's living her dream in that sense. So
yeah.
Thank you, JoJo, for your contributions to our childhood, to my late college years for sure with Mad Love, and just for getting through all of the bullshit, because we appreciate you deeply.
And we all got to get through the bullshit, right?
So true. You're so brave to say that out loud.
It's true. We all have our own versions of
We all have our own versions of being financially abused by Black Round Records. Yeah. Creatively abused, perhaps. Okay, so
are they going to make the biopic? Ooh.
That's a good question.
I feel
like she needs to
in
live
15
more
years,
life. Yeah.
At the shortest. At the most soon, I don't know, the soonest the soonest they can make that biopic is in 15 years. But I want the biopic to be like limited to like once. I don't want it to be a whole life.
I see.
I want it to be like, let's talk about the industry as a child type of thing.
Got it.
Maybe up to like the re-release. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you better get to writing that spec. Okay, that treatment. So if we're going to do a cover, it'll be here.
Before you hear this cover of Leave, Get Out, I just wanted to call attention to the fact that we recorded this in about 10 minutes. And it's kind of funny because I couldn't stop laughing. So yeah, please enjoy.
I've been waiting all day for you, babe. So won't you come sit and talk to me? You tell me how we're gonna be together always. Hope you know that when it's late at night, I'll hold on to a pillow tight and think of how you promised me forever. I never thought that anyone could make me feel this way. Now that you're here, boy, all the one. It's just a chance to say, hey,
Get out,
leave
right now. It's the end of you and me. It's too late
now.
And I can't wait for you to be gone. 'Cause I know about her. And I wonder why I thought all the lies. You said that you would treat me right, but you were just a waste of time.
That being said,
You can find more from us at evergreenpodcast.com/sleepover-cinema and keep up with our latest creative projects. What are they? Beats me. Our latest creative projects at twopinkproductions.com. We're on
So
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Sleepover Cinema and post a full video version of each episode on YouTube every Thursday. You can follow me, Audrey, at Audriana Leach on everything.
I'm unemployed now, so perhaps I will have more. I already feel like I have more mental
That wasn't even
time.
directed to
I know, but
you.
I'm just saying. Okay. So, and then you can follow me, Hannah, at Hannah Ray Leach on everything. And please join our Discord server if you have not yet. Our link to the Discord server is in the episode description and on evergreenpodcast.com.
You can check out our merch at twopinkproductions.com/shop. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts, stickers, and more.
And if you like the show, if you love JoJo, etc.
Aquamarine,
Aquamarine. If
RV.
you feel
If you
connected,
love RV,
yes, if you are a big fan of RV, please send this episode to a friend and let us know what you think of this episode and everything in life ever.
Sleepover Cinema is a production of Evergreen Podcasts, produced, edited, and engineered by us, Hannah and Audrey Leach. Sleepover Cinema is mixed by Sean Rule Hoffman with theme music by Josh Perlman Hall. Executive producer is Michael D'Aloia.
Bye. I was trying to think of a good line. Get out, leave.
Get out
Leave.
right now.